So Beat of Your Drum, the original version of Beat of Your Drum had a very, well, how do I describe the feel? I'll play a little bit of it here. This is the original. Turn this up for you. So this is very 80s inspired, almost. The original synth that comes in, I'll play it again, is made me think of Miami Vice or something like that. It didn't feel like David Bowie. And then these very, very of the time synths come in, and you're thinking more about, fast cars than you're thinking about David Bowie or something like that. This didn't fit. So I originally started stripping things away and peeling things back and started trying to find out, okay, what's the core element of this song and where do I take it? So I would do things like, let's pull this up. So here's his vocal.
Photograph king.
And I've already added some effects there.
Watches you go.
And I thought, okay,
Now
well,
fashions may change.
once I had, and actually, one thing about this song is Sterling actually had a really fantastic drum part that he had come up with. So let me throw that into the mix here.
Colors may fade. The seasons may change, weather blows, but you still leave a mark on me.
So because of all this, I was able to have a lot of space around his voice, and his voice was able to stick out much better. You could hear his lyrics, you could hear the content of the song, you could hear what it's talking about. So based on this minimal approach, I was able to build up the song, I think, much more effectively. So as I was building the song up, I went back and forth with Nico over these ideas, and I'd start to add these ideas in. He would send me his ideas synthetically first. We'd go back and forth. He was working, I believe, somewhere in Europe at the time. I don't know if it was Germany or something, but he was overseas working on something else. So we were working every maybe week or so. We'd have a FaceTime and we'd say, okay, where are we at with this? And we'd go bar by bar and see, okay, how do we build the song up? So now the song has these beautiful strings that really evoke these composers that David really admired. That sound right there is something that actually is on the original tape, and I thought it was appropriate to still keep. That might be the only sound that's actually remaining except for David's vocal. So let me put some other things in. Tim LaFave had this incredible bass part. Turn this up a bit. So when Tim and Sterling were playing, it was a perfect match. Luckily, they had already played together on another project. But so you can see how the strings are built around his voice. There's nothing interfering with this. And Sterling was very smart about keeping his arrangement such that it was never on top of David's vocal either. Whereas on the original, it's just clutter. I'll add these other elements in. So, I'll talk a little bit about the guitars on this too. After I'd explained to both Nico and also David Torn, who's the other guitar player on the record, the issues that I thought were most problematic, I said, this is what I need from you. One of those was, like I said, the beginning of the songs was reminding me of Miami Vice or something. That was going to be gone. And so I was very particular about with Torn saying, I want this to have an ambient intro of your guitars. And so we went through a few different ideas of that, and what we ended up with was Torn's guitar actually now opens the song. So this is actually all coming from his guitar right now. This might sound to some people like some kind of esoteric synthesizer, but it's actually his guitar. and then I added something here that kind of triggers the strings. These powerful guitars that come in are Reeves. So Reeves really sets the stage there. And now you can really hear David's voice, and it's spectacular. I mean, he sounds as good as he's ever sounded.
No need to go. Colors may fade.
And you can even do something where
Seasons may change, weather blows, but
you could even just listen to it like this.
leave a mark on me. Run!
We get to the chorus, and then you can tell that it's now a pop song. And there's a sense of mystery with this, as there should be with every Bowie song. And you hear these guitars match with the strings. And sometimes a lot of people, again, might think that this is some kind of a esoteric synthesizer or something, but like this loop right here about the strings, that's all David Torn. Which he's the only person who can make sounds like this. And you hear this rumbling underneath, it's all Torn. And it's quite beautiful. It's a really nice ear candy too when you listen to the record on headphones too. And then the final mix. Combination of Torn and Reeves dueling against each other. And then as Torn is building this up, now Reeves takes a solo. And it grooves really well with the bass and drums. All of David's backing vocals are in the track. Interesting thing here. So on the original tapes, David is clapping on the live microphone. So this might have been a live take, which is not uncommon. He would do a lot of first and second takes, and that would be the track. That was what you got. And he would always do this perfect vocal. I mean, people just don't do that today. And David would do one take and say, all right, there you have it. And it was perfect. But he'd be clapping on the mic. So in this case, I had to basically go through and surgically remove the claps while adding new claps that were separated from his vocal, if that makes sense. So now there's a group of claps that sound like a group of people intending to do it. So his vocal mic isn't so kind of compressed in an unusual way. It makes sense.